Welcome back to the bubble, ladies and gentlemen, and Cossacks 3. Today we will be reviewing a game that I hope will be interesting for you guys because, as many of you might know, I have an historical awful track record of playing with Algeria or Turkey or Russia or basically any faction that doesn't follow the basic European nation meta. But today I will be reviewing a game where I played as Algeria, or I guess one of the factions that most of us don't really like playing, especially with peacetime. We have 20 minutes peacetime now, and of course Algeria, since we can't go to the 18th century, the longer the game progresses, the worse it gets for us, basically. But we will just start going through the different players of the teams. This is a 4 versus 4, so as usual, I won't be able to check on all of them because that hotkey will interrupt my recording. I really should look into that. But let's just start with the players, starting off with me down at the bottom left as Algeria in, let's call it green-blue? Brew? I don't know, turquoise-ish, because we have another bright blue, but let's check that later. And we also have in the middle, we have Talmer as blue, playing as France, very strong faction with their 18th century chasseurs. And in the bottom right, we have Yubica, and also playing as France. Let's see if I can check. There we go. Yes, also playing as France. And number 1, the top player for us, I will be playing Pocket, and Uniking will be playing Frontline, and he or she plays as Netherlands. So, all in all, I would say pretty strong factions, except for me playing as Algeria, of course. But now let's check on our opponents. We can start at the top left in brown. We have Yursu playing as Denmark. Middle player, we have Turkey, the stronger version of Algeria, run by Junk X Core. Let's just call him Junk. No, let's call him X-Core, because Junk just seems mean. And top right there, pocket player, is Ukraine, Haraldus. Haraldus the Third, Haraldus, in yellow. And their frontline player in pink is another Algeria. So I would say that our opponents really got the short end of the stick here, seeing as they have 3 factions that can't go up to the 18th century, both Ukraine, Turkey, and Algeria. But let's see if their Danish teammate will be able to hold up his end of the game. Let's actually run down to me first so we can start from that. I just want to see how I started this one. Let's kick off the game. Most likely, I will do the same start that I always do. Get a town hall, get the mill up and running. But what's difficult for me is the resource management is much different playing as Algeria or Turkey or Russia or any of those factions, because they are not, they don't plan the resources in the same way, basically. But I still want to go up to the market as fast as possible and get the second and also third town hall. I don't remember how well I did that. I have started sending 1 peasant to the first gold mine though. Fortunately, I could find the second one quite quickly. And point-wise, I'm falling a bit behind. We want to check on Uniking. Of course, now in the beginning, the points aren't really that important, but it's still interesting to see, I think. And now I traded all my coal and iron, and I'm not able to get the third town hall because someone traded faster than me, which means that I get much worse rates. So now I need to start trading gold as well to get the third town hall. But the fortunate thing about Algeria is that they don't spend gold for their barracks. Although, as you can see, it's 50 additional dwellings for the barracks, which is, of course, a lot less. And I think it's 50 for the town hall as well. So population will be a massive problem for me going through this game. Let's go up to Uniking and see what he's doing. Netherlands, much more spread out base, has his market all the way over here. And since it's so late on getting the market, he will get absolutely atrocious rates in the... Oh, because, of course, we have 4,000, not 5,000. But he will get much worse rates in trading his resources. Fortunately, he has 2 gold mines pretty close to his base, though. And the third one is over there. So I think it's just the fourth one that it needs to go looking for, I guess. Going to Talmer in the bottom center, 3 town halls, also a very spread out civilization. Only 1 barrack though, so might we see a fast 18th century from Talmer? That's what I want to know. Playing with the pikemen instead of the musketeers. They of course don't cost as much gold as the musketeers do. They do cost more iron though, but I think that's something that is they don't need any iron or coal to shoot, for example. So in that sense, they're a pretty resource effective unit. He's already starting to get the coal mines up, and he has gotten all 4 of his gold mines and 1 iron mine, of course, to sustain production of his troops, sending out scouts to all corners. In the bottom right, with Ubica, also France, much more concentrated base, and just now he's gotten the first barrack up and running, so a bit slower there, and also it doesn't go for the second barrack right away. Let's check on our opponent, starting at the top right, Haraldus, who seems to be doing very well for himself point-wise. 2 town halls only, haven't traded for the 3rd yet, but the academy is up and running already with 2 Cossack houses and 1 stable, creating the sick Cossacks, who are going to be very annoying, basically. Fast cavalry is always annoying to face, so when you have the possibility, I think you might want to go for them. Also hasn't built on all of his gold mines yet. Found 1, building on the 2nd, haven't started building on the 3rd quite yet. Let's go down to their frontline players, playing as Algeria, poor person. 2 barracks, only 1 town hall, so I'm guessing that this is a much newer player to the game, although I do like the positioning of the town halls, because with this positioning, although of course you don't want to spread them out, but if you want to talk just resource management wise, it's good to have them on the bottom side of the resource, because now he doesn't need a storehouse, but they will just drop the resources off at the top corner of the town hall. So in that sense, it's pretty good planning, although already with wood cutting, you might want to go for the minaret before starting to go for wood, because you want the boot upgrades and also the wood cutting upgrade. Let's go to their northern middle player, going with the Turkish archers, of course, a favorite for many people because they have insane range and they also don't cost iron or coal when they are shooting, so they are pretty cost efficient in that sense. Worth noting though, and also mixing it up with light infantry to have a giant shield or meat shield in front of the archers. Worth noting though is that the archers are not as good at hitting mobile targets as, for example, musket units are. So that's something worth keeping in mind. They of course have good range, like I say, but the air time of the arrows makes the archers miss from time to time, so keep that in mind. Although he has his minaret up, he has found most of his mines already, a couple of coal mines that he isn't building on, just 1. I'm guessing for the harness upgrade, but apart from that, you don't really need coal as Turkey or Algeria. You just need it for the stone excavation upgrade and for the harness for the horses. Let's see if I can check his point of view. Yes, I can. I guess it's just a brown player that I can, let's see, I'll make that up later. I'll figure that out. But look at that, 8.2k coal for the harness, and then of course you also need coal for this stone excavation upgrade. You don't need any of these unless you want to get the Janissaries, but I don't think he's gonna go for that. Instead, he's gonna go for a bulk of light infantry combined with the Turkish archers. And Algeria and Turkey can be very annoying to face in a shorter peacetime and with early aggression, because they can mass up a lot of forces if they keep an eye on their population. If they keep an eye on their population, basically, they can mass up a lot of light infantry, and if you counter that with musketeers, you won't be able to create enough musketeers in the 10 or 15 minute peacetime window usually. Look at this position, much more spread out base here as well. I don't really know why. Maybe he uses his okay, and over there as well, this is a very interesting strategy. One of the broader bases I've ever seen in my life. Hasn't found the 4th gold mine yet, but very interesting. And he goes for the opposite version of the town halls compared to Weiner. Let's call him Weiner, because Weiner put them on the bottom side so they could drop it off there. But Ursu instead went so they can go directly to the resource after they have been recruited and then drop it off at the storehouse. Both versions work, but usually you want the town halls as close as possible to the mill so you don't have a lot of idle time with peasants walking around. This storehouse should of course have been positioned on the southern side of the resource. But we live and we learn and we play, and most importantly, usually we have fun. He's making the basic musketeer build. Here we have still light infantry and janissaries. And Ukraine goes for round shears, Sikh Cossacks, and Serdukes. Basic Ukraine build, I would say. Would be interesting to see if, let's see, there we go. If he would go for the Hetman. I very rarely see a player go for the Hetman because they are not fast. But if you look at the recruitment time, it's not that much slower to get a Hetman compared to the Sikh Cossacks. And they are insanely tanky, but look at the price tag. Also crazy expensive. 150 gold. God dang, that's a lot this early on in the game. But we still have 9 minutes left of peacetime. 9 minutes in game time, that is. It's fast-paced. But I still think we have pretty much the same time. Almost. Maybe 1 minute or so faster than real time. If you look at their Algerian frontline player, he's going with a pikeman. And that's usually what you want to do, I guess, as Algeria. Just mass up on pikemen. And also fill them up with the Mamelukes. Because they are actually pretty tanky units as well. If we can check. Okay, it's pink that I can't see. But maybe we can still check on mine. If I have started making Mamluks yet. Yes. 16 damage and 280 health points. If we compare that to, let's say, Ukraine. Sorry for all the mixing here. But they have almost as much health. That's actually pretty impressive. But less damage. But then, of course, they are fast as well. And let's check on the recruitment time, actually. That's 13 and a half seconds. And if we go back to my Mamelukes, 12 seconds. So we recruit them faster. They have some more damage and some more health, but also they are slower. They have much more defensive stats, though, for against bullets, against pikes, against swords, against arrows, and against grape shot. But that's not something we need to worry about yet. But we do have cannons in this game. That's something that we don't usually do, or I don't usually play with that. But I think there might be expensive cannons. No, it's just good old-fashioned cannons. Interesting. So when you play Algeria, you want to go for a lot of pikemen and the Mamluks, and also get some artillery, because that's the only thing you're going to use your coal for, basically. And apart from that, you can just try to trade your coal if you're not going to get artillery. And if you play within a game mode without artillery, just sling your coal and iron to your teammates who need it a lot more once you've gotten the stone excavation upgrade and the harness. So, we have 6 minutes left of peacetime, and Uniking is starting to build a stone wall. Interesting choice, because it takes quite a while to build that sucker, and also they of course cost stone to maintain as well. So that's going to be pretty costly for him. But they also benefit from this upgrade, of course. Research new fortification. It cost a bit of gold, cost a bit of stone, but it will give much more durability to the walls. Also a pretty spread out base, actually, but I'm hoping that we will be able to collaborate efficiently here. So I will be kind of taking the damage. I don't have any ranged troops. I really should go for grenadiers instead of round shears, I think. But right now I'm just filling my role as a meat shield for Uniking. And so far, it doesn't look like anyone has gotten the 18th century. Nope. Not yet. But if we check on the points, Young X-Corps seems to be doing the best currently. Yes, actually, quite a significant lead as Turkey. But I guess that's because he's just spamming out light infantry. And also, something I really like seeing is that he completes his army with ranged troops from the Diplo Center, like these Dragoons, for example. They cost a lot. I think the Merc units cost twice the amount of iron and coal when they shoot. They also cost gold to maintain, and the more you have on the field, the more expensive they are to recruit. And now he's getting grenadiers, and this is a very good move here. You see that instead of setting the infinite recruit, he selected 100 right off the bat. And also he lost a couple of Dragoons there, but he selected 100 right off the bat. And that's because all of them get the same price. You can see that the price increases every couple of grenadiers. They went from 26, and soon we should go up to 28. There we go. But since he recruited 100 right away, then he got the original price for all 100, and that is a very good choice to make. I think he did the same thing with the Dragoons, because if not, gosh dang, those bad boys are expensive to recruit. So far, we haven't seen any. Right, now we're starting to see artillery, so I would say the Junk X-Corps. Now we got the whole map as well, awesome. That X-Corps should be a pretty experienced player. He has a very good economy, he is mixing up his troops with ranged and melee. He's got the artillery up and running. I would say he's probably pretty experienced. He is pop cap though, but that happens to the best of us. He is building a palisade instead of the stone wall, so that is going to be finished a lot quicker than the stone wall from Uniking. That is going to take quite a while. And also something you might want to do here is spread out your peasants a little bit, so all of them don't sit hammering on one place, but spread them out, especially when you build a palisade that is quicker to build. So as you can see, X-Corps doing here, he has a couple there. He doesn't have anyone there. He has some there, somewhere there, some there. So he spreads them out, which means that his palisade will be done a lot quicker than if he had sent 10 peasants to just start building right away. And that's something I need to be a lot better at doing. We also see towers. Interesting stuff. Very strong base, actually. A lot of points. God damn. And lo and behold, I am actually the runner-up. And also Talmer is doing a great job standing up there, getting the round shears, and also the 18th century dragoons from France, got the King's Musketeers, and a whole bunch of pikemen. The King's Musketeers, they might be tempting to get because they have a lot of damage. They give a lot of damage. Let's just check on those stats. 43 damage compared to the 18th century dragoons, 14. So they have a lot of damage, but they are also ridiculously expensive. You just look at the price tag. 100 gold, 30 gold, 10-second recruitment, 18-second recruitment. Slower to recruit, much more expensive, but also a lot of damage. So early game, you might not want to go for them, because you can get 17th century dragoons a lot faster, and they are not that much worse, except like the damage, of course. But when it comes to a cost efficiency point, I would actually prefer the 17th century dragoons to the King's Musketeer. And you can hate on me for that. I stand by that point. And now, Uniking is actually starting to spread out his peasants, almost like he heard me talking. But I still haven't been able to finish the wall in time. And let's go to the full map and see who is going to draw first blood. Orange, Ubica, has started building a palisade here, but now he has a lot of idle peasants just not doing anything at all. They could be collecting stone for days, making money, making mad bank, so to speak. But no. But also it looks like Weiner might not be the biggest threat, but he still has a lot of fast cavalry here from the Diplo Center. Might be able to just smack down the gatehouse and then raid the economy. And also the Musketeers, they won't be able to shoot down this many melee troops in time. So he could actually wipe out Ubica. Weiner could wipe out Ubica if he's fast enough. And now he's sending down the Siege Cossacks. Hasn't built on that coal mine, by the way, or that iron mine. Missing out on quite a lot of resources there, actually. But now, the Siege Cossacks, they saw the palisade starting to running back, and now they saw that this gate was starting to be built, and looks like Ubica was actually clever enough to move back and close the palisade. But, so we'll see if the raid from Weiner might actually work. Weiner has also started building a mill up here for whatever reason. Starting a second base. Because as a pocket player, I guess you always need to be prepared for the possibility of getting rushed early. But so far, none of us have rushed early. I still have just a massive army hanging out in Uniking's base. But I guess eventually we'll see some action. Otherwise, this game would be really boring to watch. But 22 minutes in, 19 minutes of effective time. So, like I said, a minute or two slower. And now Ubica actually took this hill, so he will have a good range advantage, but I don't think they will be able to shoot down the Siege Cossacks fast enough, actually. It's really interesting to keep looking at this, and he's building up the new smithy there as well. So just preparing for the possibility of getting rushed and annihilated. A beautiful dwelling build. Not sure if it's the most time efficient, but I guess he has peasants close by and a lot of idle ones here, because they will only build if you queue up 10 dwellings. They won't build more than that, so he probably queued up all of these in once, and they stop building at number 10. So now he needs to select them and have them keep building them. And how is Ursu doing? Actually doing pretty gosh darn well. Building up a massive army. Also got the 18th century units here. 18th century musketeers. And I think they have pretty decent range. The Danish 18th century musketeers. If I'm not... if I remember correctly. Please write down in the comments otherwise. And for me, I guess I'm just trying to deal with my population limits. I have 3 barracks, 4 town halls, and look at that. There I used the town hall efficiently, so now they will be able to drop them off. I'm also sending a lot of cannons. The problem is that it's going to take a long time for me to go up to this base, and also, as you can see, there is this little gap because I have my recruitment line just going straight here, and I would very much like it. Also, I'm building a stone wall just to protect myself as much as possible. I'm guessing that we don't really see any early threats coming, but we still have this little gap that's going to be annoying as hell if we don't get it closed. Now we can see that Talmer is moving in, and this is going to be very interesting because, of course, look at all those pikemen and only some dragoons to back them up with firepower, but they are information, so they of course have offensive and defensive bonuses and will be able to wipe out these pikemen from Algeria quite easily. Now Algeria would need to send everything, and they will still most likely not be able to succeed, but let's see how they deal with this. The sick Cossacks are just going to melt away against the pikemen because they have absolutely atrocious stats. But they will be able to run through, and the Mamluks, of course, are crazy tanky, but it looks like the pikemen are able to win this, and now Pink's base is completely open for an attack. And on the northern side of the base, we have X-Corps, Junk X-Corps, coming in with a lot of artillery, grenadiers, and also a bunch of light infantry, of course, and 18th century dragoons from the Merc Center or from the Diplo Center. So that is a difficult army to face because they have a lot of bodies to soak up the bullets. They have a lot of firepower that's going to shoot my army down. And the thing is, I haven't put my units into formation because you don't really want to do that when playing against cannons. Because just imagine one cannonball hitting here. Blup. That's a lot of deaths compared to having them spread out. So it might not be worth it to get those attack bonuses and the defense bonuses when we play with cannons. But fortunately... oh, it took a while for them to bring down the walls with cannons, but not at all with grenadiers. Now, fortunately, I have my artillery up here, so I will be able to kind of hold this choke point if they were to attack. We just need to make sure that we have enough soldiers ready. I might want to get my Mamelukes into formation, but I don't think I do any formations in this game, actually. But Netherlands has some troops. I don't like sending out the musketeers there. They're very susceptible to cannon fire. And as you can see, Junk X-Corps has a lot of artillery. Yellow started moving down with some sick Cossacks, but now they got scared away by some King's Musketeers. It looks like they might want to go harassing Talmer's base. I don't think that's going to be possible. This is a great Turkish siege. And, I mean, if it would have been Austrian, this would have been the Siege of Vienna, but we don't have any Polish winged hussars to deal with it. And, oh, this wall is going down. And now, let's see if I'm going to be smart using my cannons. Please. No, those are my cannons, right? And these are Uniking's cannons. Now I started using the cannons. Finally, most likely I set the fire on ground mode right here. But you can see that my accuracy on the cannons is absolutely atrocious. And also the Turkish archers' range is incredible. But my Mamelukes managed to fight through. And now I pull them back because I want to try to shoot down as many as possible with my cannons. And now they're starting to move in. Can I get a good volley of the cannons? Yes, that was a pretty good volley actually. Let's see if we can get another one. And there goes the cannons, and beautiful hitting the Turkish archers, clearing out that army pretty easily. It's so satisfying when we get a good cannon volley. So we managed to push them back that time, at least. And now we're thinking about, is it worth it to push? But I see that I don't have the support from Netherlands. So let's see how far I actually go with this offensive, because we see blue coming up here and we have the sick Cossacks. They are going to be they are going to get into my base very easily unless we can close up this freaking gap. And I do recall communicating with Uniking, telling him to close this section of the wall, because I don't think I can build on his wall, but he can start building here and just close up the gap right there, so we are not that vulnerable to raids from the sick Cossacks. But I am moving out with my army, trying to lay siege to something here, because I do have cannons, although they are so slow. Come on, cannons! So slow. But I do have a pretty decent army, and it looks like Brown currently is hanging back a little bit, although this army will be very scary to face. A lot of 18th century pikemen, a lot of 17th century pikemen, a lot of round shears. Ugh, this is not something... I wouldn't win against this currently. I would need to get some very, very good shots off with my cannons to be able to beat that one. But now it looks like he's starting to send out some sick Cossacks. And here, there's a gap in the palisade. You need to queue so you can see the little gap, because now they will be able to run in. And let's see if we have capture mode on, because I'm not sure we do. Oh, sorry, I completely missed this. Blue has absolutely annihilated Pink's base. It was smart by Pink. And yes, we have capture on. So it was very smart by Pink to starting relocating over here. And he has already captured another civilization. So he has Algeria, and he also has France, because I guess he occupied a mine or something somewhere. Took some peasants. Probably, but yeah. So that is going to be double civilization. Very difficult to face. Very, very difficult. But now we are starting to lay siege on Junk X Core. And let's see if we're actually able to push through here. Blue is fortunately here helping with his army as well. So theoretically, we should be able to get this. I just need to get my cannons up as well so we can start shooting on Junk X Core. And actually thin out his troops a little bit. Then we can start moving in. But also, fortunately, Brown hasn't started assisting yet. Hasn't sent any reinforcements. Sorry that I missed... Pink being annihilated, but I guess that's what happened after they beat the army standing right here in the corner. So it might not been that fun. And now my cannons have started bombarding the armies of Junk X Core, trying to focus on their Turkish archers, but now of course their cannons come in, so we will really need to push or pull back. If not, we are just gonna get shot to smithereens by their cannons. And look at these shots. Absolutely... Oh, this just hurts my soul to see that kind of charge. Now I see that Talmer is moving in. Am I going to move in together with him? I hope I am. For some reason, I'm not, though. Please. Please. Oh, come on. Why aren't I helping him? I'm just sending in my cannons to get captured and letting my own troops die. Please send in my troops. I have captured areas over here, but I mean... I need to send my troops in right now. I don't know what I'm waiting for. What am I waiting for? Because I'm just getting shot to shit right now. And probably I was attacked down here. And that's what I was focusing on. Because otherwise Red wouldn't have troops in my base. So I got raided. Big time. Yep, I got raided. Fortunately, we cleaned it up, though. And now I start focusing here. I mean, my multitasking abilities are... very, very bad. But now at least I'm moving in. I also have Grenadiers to give some fire support. But I think it might be too little too late here, actually. Because I lost too many troops by their cannons. And also I lost a lot of reinforcement capabilities here as well. Seeing as I had to pull back to defend my base. Sorry I missed that one. I'm missing a lot of stuff today. I'm sorry about that. But now their cannons are still shooting at me, but we have been able to pass through. And now we will be capturing their cannons. And Junk X Core is sending his peasants, sending everything but the kitchen sink. And we'll see if there will be a surrender from Junk X Core here. My Mamelukes are able to defend the cannons. That is huge. And I need to get these cannons to stop firing on ground, because I have also captured a bunch of cannons and I don't want to destroy them. Let's not look at that, actually. So now we have gone from 4 versus 4 to almost 4 versus 2 here, and Brown is finally moving out his army might be a bit too little too late, because he would absolutely be able to kill me before we went into Junk X-Corps' base. But Junk X-Corps still has his towers, and they will still be able to shoot as long as they have coal and iron. But we keep pushing through the gate, or pushing through the base. Ursu has a lot of hussars that's making life difficult for us, so I had to destroy my cannons so that it wouldn't get captured, which kind of sucks. And now, of course, I think Ptolemy's army is going to get absolutely annihilated, because this is just too much. Too gosh darn much. And still, we haven't seen a surrender from Junk X-Corps. And in the meantime, Weiner is rebuilding his base with 2 civilizations, so he will be stronger by the second right now. But fortunately, we are still pretty strong. Ukraine is sending Sikh Cossacks as well. Not Ukraine, France, sorry. So that means that these are pretty weak Sikh Cossacks. But also, the Ukrainian army isn't that strong currently. So if Yubika is just able to mass up a good enough army to support Talmer's army there, then hopefully me and Uniking will be able to deal with this. Now we're destroying everything that we've captured, but Junk X-Corps is just not giving up. Still recruiting, although a lot of buildings have been destroyed, I'm guessing by my cannons. But now Ursu is moving in with his massive army, capturing a bunch of cannons in the process. So this was just a big-ass loss for us. So now I need to rebuild my army. I'm getting some mortars or bombards together with some howitzers. Just getting as much artillery as I can get my hands on. But fortunately, we did manage to deal an absolutely crippling blow to Junk X-Corps. It's going to take a while for him to rebuild, especially without a town hall. And since we have captured almost all of the mines, he will be able to rebuild just out of the peasants from this iron mine. But still, this is a really, really hard blow. Now we just need for Ptolemy to either hold this or destroy the mines, because we also have a tower here shooting his dragoons, killing a lot of them in the process. But Brown really came in clutch there. Might be a lot too late, but at least he came in and started helping, and we can see that Junk X-Corps is still recruiting a lot of troops, and now it's getting the heavy Sipais as well, who are absolutely elite cavalry from Turkey. Very difficult to face, because they are just absolute tanks. Also pretty expensive, slow to train, etc., but absolute tanks nonetheless. Now, Telmer has destroyed all of his mines, and his dragoons are going to die. But also, we can see that Orange has been able to do a massive job at harassing Yellow's base, basically wiping everything out. Also capturing everything from Pink. So Pink doesn't really have much left either. And it looks like he has GG'd out, destroying his base. So Orange came in with some Sikh Cossacks around Haraldus' army and just wiped out the whole base. And just like that, it's down to 4 versus 2. Because I don't think Junk X-Corps can be counted out just yet. That's also the thing with Sikh Cossacks. Watching the replays, it can all go by so freaking fast, because they just nag up a hole right here, and then they came into the base. So sorry for missing that one as well. Damn, now it will be less things for me to focus on, because it's just going to be 2 armies for us to face. So I will also try to keep an eye on the minimap and see if Orange does something more fun. He has captured another civilization as well, playing as, I guess, Algeria, with the civs that he captured from up here. And since he already has France, he can't really start a second French civilization. The game doesn't work that way. But now there's a massive Danish army coming for the gates of Netherlands. And it looks like they only have the cannons that they captured, right? Yeah, the Turkish cannons that were captured, so they will be able to lay a pretty efficient siege. But in the meantime, Talmer has 2 civilizations going, both Algeria and France. And he has his unit information, so if he's able to just flank here, he will be able to wipe out this army very, very easily. He just needs to make sure that he doesn't suffer any, that he doesn't get any cannons shots at him. But now Yellow is moving out on rampage of revenge, so to speak, to avenge his lost base that Orange took from him. And he will be able to deal a lot of damage here to Blue's base. But for whatever reason, the Serdukes aren't shooting. Oh, that is absolutely awful. The Serdukes aren't shooting. Now they've started to shoot. Oh, that is just devastating to see, because his army did stand a pretty decent chance. Fortunately, he has a lot of round shears, but the Serdukes did not pull their weight in this one at all. So the pikemen are knees deep in their lines, killing a lot of them, and the Turkish archers are giving, or Algerian archers actually, sorry, are giving support as well from the back lines. But the round shears are pretty good at tanking archer fire because of their shields and metal plates and whatnot. So it didn't go as well for Ukraine here as you might have thought. And now Talmer is sending out 18th century dragoons from the Merc Center to just even the odds a little bit, and they will be able to shoot a lot. Looks like they are outreaching the Serdukes because they are still not shooting. Are they out of coal or something? They must be, because otherwise they would be shooting a lot more. So now the Mamluks will just have a heyday at wiping them out. And now we can see that Ursu's army is actually repositioning itself. It's still so spread out. Now he's trying to clump them up a little bit. But if Talmer were just to attack here, let's see, I'm checking Junk X score out of gold. So very difficult to recruit anything. So now he's starting to rebuild his gold mines. That's going to help him out a lot, of course. He will be able to start doing mercenaries again, basically recruiting all things, because these guys also cost gold, of course. And the light infantrymen don't, so he could just mass out a shit ton of those, but it's also out of population space. And now we have this battle going on. Talmer just went straight in, and like I said, cleaning up this army by Ursu, and also pretty easily wiping out the light infantry together with the Mamluks and also the Dragoons. The round shears, for whatever reason, were in reserve, but the Chasseurs of France, look at their range. Absolutely insane, and they're easily taking out a massive part of Ursu's army, but he still has the hill advantage here, so we need to keep an eye on that one. And now the round shears come rushing over the mountain. Let's see who wins this one. He still comes around here, so if the musketeers can come up on this hill, they might be able to outreach the chasseurs, but they are just walking around. And this is going to be an expensive victory for whoever wins, basically. And it looks like, yes, Talmer got this one in the bag. Just like that, Ursu's army is out, but he has a shit ton of reinforcements, fortified with cannons as well, so a much stronger army. And now we are starting to move out. Me, together with Uniking, is moving out of his base because it looks safe enough. A lot of towers, a lot of cannons of all kinds of variations, and also some grenadiers, a lot of priests. Is always good to have as well. So now we are moving out, so we are trying to make a unified front, so to speak. We can also see that Junk X Corps has probably given up, right? Because all of his buildings are destroyed, almost. The mines are destroyed as well. Yeah, that's a surrender from Junk X Corps. So now it's... And also, Yellow has given up as well. So it's a 4 versus 2 right now. And Hussars are a great counter to Dragoons if you can close the distance fast enough. And it looks like that absolutely was the case here. But the Mamelukes are very good at countering Hussars. So they will lose... Talmer will lose a lot of Dragoons. But we will also wipe out all of the Hussars. And now Ursu has both wooden palisades and fortified by a stone wall behind. So this is a beautiful base, and also fortified even more with dwellings that can be destroyed if we start running through them. And also, of course, it will cause our units to run between them, causing a bit of a bottleneck between each of these ones. So this will need to be a siege, to say the least. We have 3 combined armies, almost. I'm just on my way up here with a lot of grenadiers from the Merc Center, with a bunch of pikemen, a lot of priests, not called priests, but called mullahs. And also it looks like... Have I gotten Turkish archers? Yes. So it looks like I'm starting to double dip in civilizations as well. I have both Algeria and Turkey and Netherlands. So yeah, I saw that other players started double dipping in civilizations. So I said, heck it, I will do that too, and let's see how fun it is. So I am currently on 3 civilizations here, making a lot of musketeers, 18th century and 17th century, and also making Turkish archers, making Mamelukes, pikemen, yeah. Making a massive army of 3 nations. Now that is an alliance, but just look at this one. I wonder if Ursu is actually even going to face this one, or if he's just going to surrender. We'll try to keep an eye on that. But I would not like to face this army, because it's 3 players with combined armies from basically all the factions on the field. I don't think anyone has Ukraine yet, though. Maybe you did. Yes. Yubika can build Ukraine, but he hasn't finished the town halls yet. So this is... Just look at this army. 3 players combining like 4 or 5 different nations. This is not going to be fun for Brown player to face. I am not jealous of him, but just imagine a couple of cannon shots here, a couple of howitzers or something, and the balance of power can quickly shift. Now all of us are starting to move in. We have the Grenadiers, we have the Dragoons, we have a whole bunch of stuff. We have Algerian archers, and I wonder if Brown will actually stand, because he can still get some pretty devastating shots in this little bottleneck here if he's quick enough to react with his cannons, but he is not. So now we are just pouring in, and I will start moving in to take this hill up on the northern side with my Grenadiers, so they can get this advantage point to shoot down the peasants. And here we have one of the showdowns of the game. No one is really going full throttle forward, but all of them are just passively standing, shooting whatever comes in range. And in that case, since the cannons aren't shooting yet for Brown, but now soon they will. And here we go. Yeah, these shots are just absolutely devastating. If all of the cannons started shooting, this army could be wiped out pretty quickly, actually. But fortunately for us, they are not. Now Brown is finally answering, and he's starting to move in with his round shears, putting everyone into formation. But I have already taken this hill with my Grenadiers, and they will be able to shoot down the Reiters and the Cuirassiers before they barely reach the hill. Fortunately, the Grenadiers have bayonets, and although they are pretty bad since they are from the mercenary center, so they will be able to be cleaned up by the Cuirassiers. Almost. But down here, we have just an absolute slaughter of Ursu's forces. We were just too gosh darn many, and without the cannons to give constant fire, it's very difficult to defend against that. And I'm guessing we will see a GG from Ursu pretty soon. Because, yeah, we are all up in his business right now. And my Grenadiers actually survived. So now they will start shooting down peasants, whatever comes in range, and also whatever comes out of these barracks as well. Pikemen, looks like. But also there are some Mamelukes that could be used, that aren't being used currently. They could be used here, for example, killing a whole bunch of musketeers. But we are just flooding the base right now, and there we see a surrender from Ursu with him deleting his buildings, and that is the end of this game. Have a lot of Mamluks over here as well, so I missed some fun points, like the raiding on Ukraine, for example. But all in all, this was a fun game. Might say that we had some stronger players in our team, and also we had some better collaborations, I would say. Although it was really unfortunate that we still haven't closed this gap. But fortunately, that wasn't used too much by our opponents. But I'm just massing up an army from all kinds of factions right now. So thank you so much for watching. No player from the Discord joined here, unfortunately. But if you want to join it, feel free to do so. We're always happy to accept new players into our community. So thank you so much for watching. Have a great day, and I will see you in the next one. The Weird
bubble.